Revit has the option to put line work in and also text in. You're generally trying to use a minimum of these options because it's not 2D drafting. You're trying to create a 3D model the way that it's going to be constructed. But just to show you, under architecture, you have model lines that are going into the whole model, but what you want to be using for documentation purposes is under annotate. You can create your lines in here. So a detail line is a line that is unique to the view that you're putting it in. And you see that there are different line styles that are available. So for example, where I've got a void down here, I'm going to click on overhead line. And then what I could be doing is drafting in some kind of line style here that is where I want to have a graphically depicted overhead line in my model, and maybe the same thing over here. So that would be a detail line is an overhead line, and it's going to go from here to the wall, right? And that's only in this view, the construction document for level 1. It's not seen in any other views. The other thing would be text. So text here. There's the different sizes of text are depicted in the styles. So this is generally what's used in schedules, but you've got 3/32 of an inch or an eighth of an inch, sorry, quarter of an inch. If you wanted like a eighth of an inch instead of the 3/32, you can start with one of these. You can say edit the type. You're going to say duplicate. You're going to tell it what you want the size to be, typically eighth of an inch in the finished plot. Arial, like that. That's the name of the style. And then down here where you're actually telling it what the size of the text is, which is there. And generally there's really a masking region that goes on top of it that just needs to be bigger than the text itself. So if I made that like a quarter of an inch, that would be good. And you can do, so let me leave it at that and say, okay, I could do that. And then I could be placing it and just typing. So if I said something like, I'll do it caps, but void, right? That's only going into that view on this, and maybe my overhead lines are also something like a detail line. I'll do a wide line. Only just wanting to show this, but that kind of option where you have a choice of line types, and you can make your own. Let's give an example here of one text style that you'll see frequently in a project. So if I go back to text, I'm going to say edit type. I'm going to say duplicate. I'll say red line. I'll say eighth of an inch, like that. And I'll change this to be red. And I'll change, this is all customizable, but I'm going to pick on the 1/8 of an inch text size, tab size a bit bigger. Okay, so the idea would be when you are working, somebody could be putting notes into the model to say, fix this wall, something like that. And when you have a note in here, you can add leader lines to it, so you can have them curved or you can have them straight, and you can have them on the left, you can have them on the right. And if I click on here, you'll see that the leader line comes out, and I could be pointing to wherever I want to be pointing to. So typically, whoever's managing your project would be putting in little notes to tell you what needs to be cleaned up. Fix this wall. The important thing there is when you have these kind of notes or tags, you will see a little move symbol or a rotate symbol on the actual text itself when you pick it, so that you want to use that to move them. Right? Instead of something like a move command. If you use a move command and you give a beginning and an end, you're moving the whole thing, and what you want is to maintain the pointer, if you like, where it's going, so you can go in and edit and change it like that. And then the text itself has these options up here where you could say, where is the leader line coming from? Let's do leader on the top right here, for example, that there. Let me move that down. Top left and middle or bottom. So let's just go middle like that. These would be leaders coming from the other side, and then you've also got the orientation of the text itself. Do you want it to be sorry, this should be changing this. Let me move that so you can see it a bit more like that. So where do you want the leader line to come from? Top part of the text here, or the middle, or the bottom. And then this is actually the orientation of the text inside that box. So do you want it to be, not sure why that didn't center. If I pick it, no, don't want it, I'm not editing that. I want to be changing this. Let's say I do align text to the right. Oh, sorry, I don't know why it didn't do it before. And align to the middle, left, right, to kind of manage this. So continuing to draft here, if I said, give me another note over here, fireproof, and I'll do the art one just so you see that you've got the choice, and I can point, move this around here, red line to show what needs to go on here. And remember, if you remember, we did look at that briefly, which was that you had a way to create a column that was listed as being a architectural column. that's really fireproofing. So that rectangular column there is kind of what's going around there. That was also how we did balusters, where we could put a architectural column on a existing wall, and it would take the gypsum board or the materials around, and then you can control, of course, the size to say what it is. Let's say edit type, just do 1 foot by 1 foot. So duplicate, or 12 inches by 12 inches. That's just the name. Nope, and there's already a 12 inch by 12 inch, so I don't need to do that. I can do that. And same thing on here. And then this also has a bottom and a top. So if you have it in a wall like this, I'm just nudging it down to put it in here. If I looked at that, I'm going to look past the structural column there with its fireproofing, and you see it's going from level 1 up to level 2. Level 2 is where the floor was, so that would be okay. Little bit, this is a little weird, but where the lines don't show like this, where you've got something that's actually like passing through it, that's also what the join command is all about. So if I went to the architecture and modify and join, this is really like take the ceiling that's showing here and clean up the graphics so that our my pilaster that's running up through here is showing as graphically as it's passing through there, but you're seeing the line work being adjusted to display it in the model. And where's the other? Oh, so the other one was actually this, right? So that one's also going up from level 1 to level 2. So it's all good. It's going through it. And you would probably do the same thing, even though I can't see it at the moment. If I picked that and I said join, if I did join that, so it's going to go through the ceiling, but it's going to show the division in my model. So just to show you, if I go back to this 3D view, if I say, let's do it back here. If I did, my camera was this one, show the camera. If I move that back like this, and maybe I want to look up a bit, so let's say I'm looking up the way, like that. My camera is now showing me that connection when it passes through the wall. Clean this up. Sorry, what's going on there? Okay, so I should be able to select multiple and just delete. So text styles and line styles. If you needed to make something, so let me just show under manage and additional settings and these line patterns. So these are the line patterns that you can create. I won't go into this because it's on the customization side, but you can create your own line patterns. You cannot do what you can do in AutoCAD, where you can have like a text readout of what the line is for things like piping. And so that was... Oh, so other things I wanted to show that we kind of talked about, but it didn't really apply to our project. Our stair, it is only one story, but what I wanted to show is the option that under architecture is this shaft opening. So a shaft opening, you draw a boundary line. So for example, I'm just going to draw it out here and then I'll move it into the project. But a boundary line, the thing that says symbolic line is kind of relates to the void that we did, but instead of, you could actually be putting like a symbolic line on the shaft opening. And that would display, so when I put the shaft in, I would have a line to tell people that this is a void, similar to what I did with the simple line work. If I do this, if I say OK, this is a 3D object that can pass up and through the model. So I'll just illustrate it this way, but if I took this and I'm using the arrow keys to move it back into my project, it's actually going to cut through floors and ceilings and roofs. So if I just move that a little bit there, you see what's going on is like, well, my shell is in my shell's a separate file. So let me turn off the shell and show you what I'm seeing inside here. So manage and manage links, and I'm going to keep the shell attached, but I'm going to unload it. So what that shaft opening is doing is right here. It's hard to see because it's an invisible object, but where is it? Sorry, there it's there. So I'll move it this way in the project so that you see it. So what it's doing is it's actually cutting through the model and through any ceilings and through any floors and through any roofs that are in the active file, not the link, but that void that you're seeing there is coming from that. So it's actually that there, right? But I'm going to take that out. So this shaft opening. Oh, so actually a good place to put it would have been in the where the stair is, in the architectural model. So let me delete that. Okay, so back in our construction document, that was, so the other thing that came up was if you're not going to label things with a piece of text, then you need to know how these tags work. These tags look at the object and then pull the object data into the tag itself. So I'm going to pick on the door tags that I'm seeing here on this construction document. I'll just say select all instances in the entire project and delete. So I'm taking them out. So what I want to show is that if you go to Revit documentation part of this where you do tag all, tag by category. So I'm going to do tag by category. This is how Revit knows whether there is a tag in your project. So for example, I'll choose a piece of the furniture, and if there's already a furniture tag, it would show up. Just like this. It's got the same options to change what the furniture tag looks like, or where it is here. Let me do this more quickly so you can see this. Let's get rid of all of them, and then I'll show you how to get them in. So I'm going to right click, select all instances in the entire project. My furniture tag I am deleting. And down under annotation and furniture tags, I'm going to delete it. So there's nothing in here. Right. So you get those also from the cloud. If you went to, this should be familiar by now, insert, load an Autodesk family, look at everything that's there. And it would be under annotations. And these are for switches, for cables, everything. What I'm looking for is I do just a search for furniture. So these are the options here. That's where I got it from, furniture tags. So look there and bring it in. So the way that they work would be that when you go to the annotation tab and you choose tag by category, this is going to identify whether the tag is there or not, but you don't really want to be doing this one by one. And you want to be aware of the fact that on the leader itself, you've got options to place it here. So is there an attached end? What length is it? So if I do free end, that will let me place this any place that I want on top of that and then come away from it. The faster way would be if let me just delete that. You can also, in your project, you can say tag all, and you can tag all of these objects simultaneously. This is our construction document view. I'm going to say give me the furniture tags, and I can pick which one I want from this. I'll just do standard. And then also the room tags or the wall tags. Oh, sorry, the door tags. I'm going to do doors. And it's got all objects in the current view. Include elements in the linked file. I'm not including that. All objects in the current view. And down here, is it to have a leader line? Yes or no? So I'm going to switch that switched off. If you do have a leader line, you can say how long the leader line is and whether the text should be horizontal or vertical. But I'm just going to do it with the defaults and do apply. I've got rooms switched off, so it's asking me if I want to switch them on, and there. So what I just did there was to apply tags to all the furniture and to all the doors. And if the doors have a value, so I think I must have gone through and told it what I wanted the mark to be, 24, therefore it's going to report 24. But say for the furniture here, right, so what I can do is I can either, if I pick on the tag, it's going to show me a question mark. And if I click on the question mark, it's going to let me go in here and say chair 1, chair 01. That's the tag that I'm putting into this. It says there's lots of these in the project. Do you want to continue? Yes. If I go to my hard to see because of the size. If I pick that, this was store 1. I'll just put ST1. You're changing a lot of them. Is that what you really want to put in? Yeah, so these were storage unit 1, and this was a different storage unit. I'll get it from here. Storage unit 2. This must be different one from the other. So. And if I go to the stuff that we created, so for example, there's my, and so I can either click on the furniture itself and go down to where it says mark and say chair 2. Sorry, furniture, it's not. Where's it putting it? It's the chair 2, that's going to go through there. And so that, let me just check, I put it in the wrong place. It's not mark, it's type mark. So let me delete that. The type mark is there, right? That's what I'm putting on to tell it what type of chair it is, what type of storage it is, that kind of thing. For schedules, remember that sometimes the categorization of these objects doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If I click on the edit family and I look up here, you would see, what this is categorized at. It might be specialty equipment, it might be something else. But what I did to get the reporting to be a bit more sensible is change it to say, just regard it all as being furniture. So because I changed the individual families in here to, so if I look at the floor plan or level 1 here, because I changed those to being all furniture, picking them individually, editing the family and changing the category to say report on it like furniture, this is where I can go in and actually be making changes in here. So that's a little unusual, but it doesn't really make any sense to have the categorization that these have of specialty equipment or something else. So change that to furniture, which means now I can go in and call it out. So I won't repeat on that. I just wanted to show that you can edit family and change the categorization of what family it is. So I'll just call it equipment 1, or sorry. And that would be the type mark. either by clicking up here and putting it in, or by picking on the tab, getting it there. And Revit will keep you straight if you enter something that's already categorized. With that, it'll tell you. Actually, I'm surprised it let me do that. I thought it would tell me I've already got an EQ3. Okay, EQ4. And so we got all of that. Oh, that one there. So let me just confirm. A weight bench is, a weight bench and edit the family is categorized as delivered from the cloud as being, I think I already changed it to furniture. I think it was something else. So that's correct. So either through the tab, EQ, so all of these would report in a furniture schedule. Oops, sorry, not the legend, the schedule. We can use this, it's only in 2016. Let's say sort by type mark. Grand totals. Oh, so these were the other ones that I brought in that were just I'm going to just delete them. There's our Adirondack chair that I didn't change. So I'm just going to put in here chair 1, 2, so maybe chair 3. And now it's sorted them and back in my project. My view. Oh, those were that was a nested group. And that was showing that you could do like seating arrangements. But if the family said that it was shared, so just kind of quickly remind you here that is the individual family. And if I edit that family, that checkbox there that said shared means it'll report on the individual family inside the nested family that has the 3 chairs in it.